Picture this. You made the pasta, you made the sauce, and on the plate it comes out dry. The sauce pooling at the bottom while the noodles clump on top. It never looks like the restaurant. Here's the thing. The Italian grandmothers who cooked pasta every single day knew small tricks that make it silky and perfectly coated and never wrote them down. Today we're counting down 31 clever Italian nonna pasta tricks that actually work. And stay for number 1, the one-pan trick where the pasta makes its own silky sauce. No draining, no second pot. By the time we get there, you'll never cook pasta the same way. Let's get into it. Number 31. Stop drowning your pasta in a giant pot of water. Everyone's told to use as much water as possible, but a nonna knew that less water in a wider pan makes better pasta. Here's why. When you use less water, it turns thick and cloudy with the starch the pasta releases, and that starchy water is the secret ingredient that makes a sauce cling and turn silky. Drown it in gallons and you rinse all that gold away. She used just enough water to cover the pasta in a wide, shallow pan. And that concentrated, starchy water sets up the trick that comes right at the end. Number 30. Only salt the water once it's truly boiling, and salt it until it tastes like the sea. This is the pasta's one and only chance to be seasoned from the inside, so it matters more than people think. A nonna waited for a rolling boil, then threw in a big handful of coarse salt, about a tablespoon for every quart, and tasted it. It really should taste like seawater. Salting cold water early does nothing but can pit the bottom of your pot, and undersalting means pasta that's bland no matter what sauce you drown it in. Season the water, season the pasta. And once it's boiling, here's how she added the long stuff. If bringing back these old kitchen secrets sounds good to you, do me a favor and subscribe. We're bringing back the tricks Nonna never wrote down. Number 29. Never snap your long pasta in half to fit the pot. Breaking spaghetti was almost a crime in a Nonna's kitchen, and it's completely unnecessary. She'd stand the bundle up in the boiling water, and within about 10 seconds the ends soften. And you just fan the whole thing down into the pot with a gentle push of the spoon. No breaking, no mess, and the long strands are exactly what let you twirl it properly later. Watch it bend and slide right in. And the moment it's in the water, the next trick decides whether it clumps or not. Number 28. Stir hard in the first 2 minutes, then relax. The first couple of minutes are when pasta is at its stickiest, because the outside is releasing a gluey layer of starch before the water washes it smooth. This is exactly when pieces weld together into clumps. A nonna would give the pot a good, vigorous stir the moment the pasta went in, and again a minute later, then leave it alone. Those first 2 minutes of stirring are the whole reason her pasta never came out stuck in a lump. And the next one is the timing secret that makes it taste like a restaurant. Number 27. Pull the pasta a full minute before the box says, and finish it in the sauce. This is the single biggest thing home cooks get wrong. A nonna never cooked pasta all the way in the water. She'd drain it while it still had a firm, stubborn bite, then drop it into the pan of simmering sauce with a splash of pasta water and let it finish cooking there for that last minute or two, tossing hard. The pasta drinks up the sauce as it finishes, so the flavor gets inside it instead of just sitting on top. That last minute in the pan is everything. And to do it, you need to save one thing first. Number 26. Before you drain, always save a big mug of that cloudy pasta water. If you only take one trick from this whole list, make it this one. That murky, starchy water is liquid gold. A splash of it loosens a thick sauce, pulls oil and water together into something glossy, and helps everything cling to the pasta. A nonna would dip a mug into the pot without even thinking, right before draining. Then she had it ready to build the perfect sauce. Keep back a full cup every single time. And here's the timing rule that makes it all work. Number 25. Have your sauce finished and waiting before the pasta is done. Because pasta waits for no one. A plate of pasta sitting in a colander while you scramble to finish the sauce is already ruined. It dries out, clumps, and goes cold in a minute. Nonna always worked it the other way around. Her sauce was simmering and ready in the pan first, so the instant the pasta came out of the water, it went straight in to marry with it, hot and loose. The sauce waits for the pasta, never the pasta for the sauce. And that leads to a rule about which goes into which. Number 24. Always add the pasta to the sauce, never the sauce to the pasta. Piling a scoop of sauce on top of a bowl of plain noodles is how you get that sad, dry plate with a puddle at the bottom. Nonna did it in the pan. The drained pasta went into the pan of sauce, and she tossed them together over the heat so every single strand got coated evenly. The pan is where pasta and sauce become one dish instead of two separate things. And what shape you're tossing matters more than you'd guess. Number 23. Match the pasta shape to the sauce. It's not random. Nonna chose her shapes on purpose. Thin, delicate strands like spaghetti or linguine are for smooth, oily, or light sauces that can coat them. Tubes and ridged shapes like pen, rigatoni, and shells are for chunky, meaty, or creamy sauces because those ridges and hollows scoop and trap the sauce. Put a heavy meat ragu on thin spaghetti and it just slides off. Put it on rigatoni and every bite is loaded. The shape is a tool. And the next one is a mistake almost everyone makes at the sink. Number 22. Never, ever rinse hot pasta under the tap. This one makes a Nonna wince. That starchy coating on freshly drained pasta is exactly what helps the sauce grip. Rinse it off, and the sauce just slides away, leaving you with bland, slippery noodles. The only time she ever rinsed pasta was for a cold pasta salad, where you want to stop the cooking and keep the pieces separate. For everything hot, straight from the pot into the sauce, never near the tap. And speaking of the exception, the oven has its own rule too. Number 21. For any baked pasta, undercook it hard, almost raw. Baked ziti, lasagna, pasta al forno. If you cook the pasta fully before it goes in the oven, it comes out mushy and blown out every time. Nonna knew the pasta keeps cooking in the oven as it soaks up the sauce, so she'd boil it just a few minutes, far short of done, sometimes barely softened, then build the dish. It finishes perfectly tender in the heat. Undercook for the oven, always. And the next trick adds a flavor most people never knew pasta could have. Number 20. Toast your dry pasta in a dry pan before you boil it. This one sounds strange and tastes incredible. Before the pasta ever touches water, Nonna would sometimes toast the dry noodles in a dry pan over medium heat for a few minutes, tossing, until they smelled nutty and turned a shade darker. That gentle toasting deepens the flavor of the wheat itself, giving the finished dish a warm, almost roasted note you can't get any other way. Just keep it moving and pull it when it's golden and fragrant, never dark. 3 or 4 minutes is all it takes. Then boil as normal. It's an old trick from the South, and it's magic. And the next one saves the most famous pasta of all from disaster. Number 19. For a creamy carbonara, take it off the heat before the egg ever touches it. Scrambled, grainy carbonara is the most common kitchen heartbreak, and the cause is always the same: too much heat. Nonna would beat her eggs and cheese in a bowl, then pull the pan completely off the flame, wait a moment, and toss the hot pasta with the egg mixture, loosening it with pasta water. The gentle, fading heat of the pan cooks the egg into a silky, glossy cream instead of scrambling it. No cream, no flame, just eggs, cheese, and pasta water. The starchy water is your safety net. Added a spoonful at a time, it loosens the egg into a glossy cream and keeps it from ever tightening up. If your own Nonna made pasta like this, subscribe and cook along with us. The best tricks are still coming. And her other famous pasta hides the same kind of secret. Number 18. For cassio e pepe that never clumps, make a cheese paste with pasta water off the heat. This dish is just cheese, pepper, and pasta, and yet it defeats almost everyone because thrown into a hot pan, the cheese seizes into a stringy, gluey lump. Nonna's trick was to mix the finely grated pecorino with a little cool pasta water in a bowl first, into a smooth paste, then toss it with the pasta off the heat, adding more starchy water until it turned into a silky sauce. Keep the fierce heat away from the cheese and it stays creamy. And the same emulsion magic rescues the simplest pasta of all. Number 17. For aglio e olio, swirl pasta water into the oil until it turns creamy, not greasy. Garlic and oil pasta should be glossy and clingy, but done wrong, it's just an oily slick sitting at the bottom of the bowl. The fix is emulsion. Nonna would add a good splash of starchy pasta water to the garlic and oil in the pan and swirl it hard, and the starch pulls the oil and water together into a light, creamy sauce that coats every strand. Oil alone slides off, oil emulsified with pasta water clings, and a cold little secret makes any sauce shine. Number 16. Toss in a small knob of cold butter at the very end for gloss. This is a restaurant trick Nonna knew by instinct. Right at the finish, off or nearly off the heat, she'd add a small pat of cold butter to the pan and toss until it melted into the sauce. The butter emulsifies in and gives the whole dish a glossy sheen and a rounder, richer taste, tying everything together. Just a little, right at the end. And she finished with one more drizzle for aroma. Number 15. Finish the plate with a thread of raw olive oil off the heat. Cooked oil and raw oil are two different things. Nonna would give the finished pasta a final small drizzle of good, green, raw extra virgin olive oil right before serving when the heat was off. Raw, it keeps its fresh, peppery, fruity aroma, adding a bright top note and a beautiful shine that cooked oil loses. It's the last little flourish that makes the dish smell alive. And the next trick wakes up your spices before they ever hit the sauce. Number 14. Toast your black pepper and dried chili in the dry pan before anything else. Spices thrown straight into a wet sauce stay flat. Nonna would toast whole or cracked black pepper, or dried chili flakes, in the dry hot pan for 30 seconds first, until they smelled fragrant, before adding the oil and garlic. That quick, dry heat blooms the aromatic oils inside the spice and wakes up a depth of flavor that raw pepper never gives. It's why her cassio e pepe and her arrabbiata had that extra kick. And here's a balance most people get backwards. Number 13. Salt the pasta water heavily, but go easy on salt in the sauce. Because the pasta itself is already well seasoned from that seawater salty water, the sauce doesn't need as much salt as you'd think, and the cheese you'll add later brings even more. Nonna seasoned in layers, tasting as she went, and she knew that a heavily salted sauce on top of properly salted pasta ends up too salty to eat. Season the water boldly, the sauce gently, and taste at the end. And now we move to the pasta she made with her own hands. Number 12. For fresh pasta, use 00 flour, rest the dough, and roll it until you can nearly see through it. Homemade pasta lives or dies on 3 things. Nonna used soft 00 flour for silkiness, kneaded the dough, then let it rest, wrapped, for 30 minutes so the gluten relaxed and it stopped fighting her. Her measure was simple and never written down, about 1 egg for every 100 grams of flour and not a single drop of water. Then she rolled it thin enough to almost see your hand through it because it puffs and thickens as it cooks. Rested dough, rolled fine. Rushed, thick dough turns gluey. And once it's rolled, one dusting choice keeps it from sticking. Number 11. Dust fresh pasta with semolina, not flour, so it never sticks together. This is a small thing that saves a whole batch. When Nonna cut her fresh tagliatelle or laid out ravioli, she dusted it with coarse semolina, not regular flour. Fine flour soaks into the moist dough and turns pasty, letting the pieces glue back together, while gritty semolina stays on the surface like tiny ball bearings and keeps every strand separate. It also gives the finished pasta a lovely texture for the sauce to grab. Semolina, not flour, for dusting. And here's how she kept a big batch for later. Number 10. Freeze fresh pasta in little nests on a tray, then bag it, and cook it straight from frozen. Fresh pasta doesn't last long in the fridge, but it freezes beautifully if you do it right. A nonna would shape the cut pasta into small nests, lay them apart on a floured tray, and freeze them solid before tucking them into a bag so they never stuck into one giant clump. Then, straight from the freezer into boiling water, no thawing, which would turn it to mush. Frozen nests, cooked from frozen. And don't pour away the best part when you're done. Number 9. Keep leftover pasta water in a jar in the fridge to thicken tomorrow's sauce. That starchy water is too useful to waste on the last plate. A nonna would sometimes keep a little jar of it in the fridge, because a splash stirred into a thin soup or a sauce that won't come together works like a natural thickener, binding it silky without flour or cream. It keeps for a few days. Free thickener, hiding in the water you were about to pour away. And the cheese you finish with has a rule of its own. Number 8. Grate your cheese as fine as dust so it melts smooth, never grainy. A coarse grate of Parmesan or Pecorino dropped onto pasta clumps up into gritty little knots. A nonna grated her hard cheese on the finest side of the grater, almost to a powder, so it melted instantly and evenly into the hot pasta and its water, turning into a smooth, creamy coating instead of grainy lumps. Fine cheese melts into sauce, coarse cheese fights you. And the finest grade also means it dissolves before it has a chance to seize. And here's how she brought yesterday's pasta back to life. Number 7. Reheat leftover pasta in a pan with a splash of water, never dry in the microwave. Microwaved. Leftover pasta comes out dry, rubbery, and unevenly hot. A nonna's way brought it back like new. She'd put the leftover pasta in a pan with a small splash of water or a little more sauce, cover it, and warm it gently over low heat, tossing until the steam loosened everything and it turned soft and glossy again. The little bit of water is the whole secret. And how you toss it matters more than you'd think. Number 6. Toss pasta with tongs or 2 forks, lifting and folding, not stirring. Stirring pasta round and round in the pan just drags the sauce to the bottom and breaks up delicate strands. A nonna tossed it, lifting the pasta up and letting it fold back down into the sauce again and again, so gravity and the starchy water coated every strand evenly from top to bottom. It's a gentle, lifting motion, not a harsh stir. That's how you get every single piece glossy and coated. And the most delicate sauce of all breaks this next rule if you're not careful. Number 5. Never cook your pesto. Toss it with the hot pasta off the heat. Fresh basil pesto is raw for a reason, and heating it ruins everything. Put pesto in a hot pan, and the basil turns dark and bitter, and the whole thing goes dull and army green. A nonna would take the pan off the heat, or use a big warm bowl, and toss the hot pasta with the pesto and a splash of pasta water, so it loosened and coated without ever cooking. It stays bright green, fresh, and fragrant. And if you make it in a food processor rather than a mortar, pulse it cold and quick, so the spinning blades don't heat and blacken the basil either. Heat is pesto's enemy. And there's one dish where the rinsing rule finally flips. Number 4. For a cold pasta salad, this is the one time you rinse, and then oil it. Everything so far said never rinse, but a cold salad is the exception. A nonna making a summer pasta salad would cook the pasta a minute longer than usual because it firms up as it cools, then rinse it under cold water to stop the cooking and wash off the sticky starch that would glue it into a block. Then a little olive oil to keep the pieces separate and glossy. Cold salad, rinse and oil, everything else, never. And here's how she knew the exact second it was done. Number 3. To check for al dente, cut a piece and look for the thin white dot in the center. Forget throwing pasta at the wall. A nonna tested it by taking a piece out, biting it, and looking at the cut end. when there's still the tiniest thread of pale, raw-looking white right in the middle, and it has a firm bite, that's al dente. And it's the moment to drain it, because it'll finish in the sauce. All white gone means it's already overcooked. That little white dot is your signal. And the way it looks on the plate tells you if you got it all right. Number 2. Serve pasta loose and glossy, never dry. If it looks dry, it needed more pasta water. This is the final tell, the thing that separates a Nonna's plate from everyone else's. When she served it, the pasta slid onto the plate silky and shining, the sauce clinging to every strand, never a dry clump with a puddle underneath. If your pasta ever looks dry and tight on the plate, the fix is almost always the same. Another splash of that starchy pasta water tossed in at the end to loosen it back to glossy. Loose, shiny, coated. That's the target. And now, the number 1 trick, the one that changes everything. Number 1. Cook the pasta right in the sauce, risotto style, and it makes its own silky sauce. No second pot, no draining. This is the one that looks like a magic trick. Instead of boiling pasta in one pot and sauce in another, a Nonna would sometimes cook the raw pasta directly in a wide pan of sauce, adding hot water a ladle at a time as it drank it up, stirring exactly the way you make a risotto. As the pasta cooks right there, it releases all of its starch into the pan instead of down the drain. And that starch builds the most glossy, velvety, deeply flavored sauce you've ever had, clinging to every strand. One pan, no colander, and a sauce so silky you'll swear there's cream in it. It works with almost any short pasta and any sauce you'd normally simmer. Just start the pasta half covered in the sauce, keep a pot of hot water beside you, and keep feeding it in a ladle at a time until it's tender. Try it once, and you'll understand what all the other tricks we're building toward. So there they are. 31 clever tricks the Italian grandmothers used to turn a handful of flour and water into the best plate on the table. And when you lay them all out, you see what pasta really was to her. It was never just fast food or a filler. It was a craft she practiced every single day, a small daily act of care. The right salt, the right shape, the starchy water saved, the sauce waiting in the pan, everything tossed together until it turned silky and whole. She fed a family beautifully with almost nothing and made it look effortless because all of this lived in her hands, not in a book. And the most beautiful part is that none of it takes money or special tools. Just a little attention and a cup of water you use to pour straight down the drain. So let me leave you with this. What's the one pasta rule your Nonna, or someone's Nonna, would never let you break? Tell me down below, and let's keep this wisdom from disappearing. Subscribe and cook along with us as we bring back the tricks the world was starting to forget.